Alrighty guys, today I have a really cool opportunity. This print right here came off of a $30,000 machine. $30,000 3D printer. 3D printed this. Now, to clarify, the super clickbaity title is indeed clickbaity. It was $30,000, what was it, 9 years ago now? The machine is from 2015. Dude, 2015 was 9 years ago. Wow. Okay, anyways, so what machine is it exactly? It is the Stratasys Fortis 250. Wowzers. This is a 5-year-old Stratasys 3D printer. And I mean, it's pretty cool. It uses this proprietary 1 kilogram filament. It can only print ABS. It has one print nozzle, but it can do multicolor, or not multicolor, 2 type of different filament. And it can only do soluble support and regular material. This is a Benchy that I tried to get it to print. This is the you cannot turn off supports. This is like a proprietary like CabGrad software. Proprietary garbage. I hate it. And for some reason you cannot turn off support. So this is the least amount of supports I could try to get it to print with. And if we go back here and go into estimate, look at that. 3 hours for a Benchy. No, it's this Fortis 250. I don't know what the last two are. Maybe CM, I don't know. So yes, it is a Stratasys printer. And I just kind of want to give my little review of said print and my experience with the printer, along with, you know, the actual print quality, and see if it is still any good for today's, you know, modern standard of, you know, Prusa's Mark IV S and the Core 1 and the Bambu Lab X1C and all those guys. So, starting off with the actual print itself. So this is the print that came off the printer. I've tried to preserve it as best as I can. I have a video of myself kind of starting the print. Finally, it's going. Whoa. This whole thing shakes when it moves. Sheesh. It's a big, heavy tool head too. And then when it ended, and then me taking it off the print plate. I don't really have too much footage of it printing and stuff because it is not actually mine. It was donated to our school almost like 4 or 5 years ago now, because it is an outdated old machine. So this is the Benchy that I printed, and you may be seeing, okay, well, I cheated, right? There's supports on. You're not supposed to have supports on. Well, these are soluble. They are soluble supports. And it is a really cool printer because it has one print head, one print nozzle, but you feed 2 filaments in, and instead of the extruder being one, you know, like this one where it's a extruder like this, it actually can switch. It has a lever where it can pick which, it has like the little extruder in the middle, and the 2 feed into each side, and so it can actually change and force its way either one or the other way, and that's how it decides what filament to extrude. It doesn't actually run it like all the way out and then another one back in. It's super fast for color changes. Like, there was almost nothing for, like, it didn't extrude out any. All it did was it just pulled it back just a little bit, switched over, pushed in, and that was it. It's a really efficient design for color changing, especially for 9 years ago, considering its color changing was faster than today's modern Bambu Lab X1C's color change. However, how long did this print take, do you think? 1 hour, 15 minutes, 30 minutes? Took 3 hours for this print to finish. And that was not due to the color change. It just prints that slow. Literally, it would pick up, and by the time it got there, it would have the color change be done already. So it just prints super slow. Now you will, like I was saying earlier, did I cheat with the color? Did I cheat with these supports? Yes and no. Yes, you're not supposed to print a Benchy with supports, but also the proprietary software, the slicer that you have to use, the GrabCAD or whatever, is awful, I will say. Even up to date, even the newest version is awful. It is terrible compared to any slicer, any of the slicer forks. So Prusa Slicer, Bamboo, all that, awful compared to those. You have almost no control over the settings. You have to buy a premium in order to move your model around to adjust things. And when you slice, there's 4 different buttons to slice. So there's a slice button that just slices it and displays, the cool little layer line, the 3D render of the sliced and what it'll end up looking like. And there's a simulate button or estimate button that will tell you how long that print will take, because it doesn't do that when you just click simulate or slice, sorry. And then there's the print button, which slices and then prints. However, you also have to print supports. This is the bare minimum amount of supports it would let me print. It tried to, it had the professional or the smart supports, where literally this entire thing was just a solid blob of supports. And so I turned it to very basic, and I had the overhang set to 30. So it tried not to support itself at all. And so the only place where there's supports is from here in these circles down, and on this from the bottom to the top of the roof up here. Now you'll notice this also printed supports on the bottom, and that's actually because that printer, again, because it has to have supports on, always does that. It doesn't actually print directly onto the print bed. It prints off of the print bed, and it prints the first layer is out of this ABS, which is the black material. That's its first layer, and then its rest of the layers are support material going up, which are soluble supports, which is also ABS. And then it switches to the regular support and then prints that way, which is super weird, but I guess it also helps for warping. Now you will notice this does rock on my print bed. That's only because, again, I didn't perfectly preserve the supports, and they did just collapse. And these supports are also really weak. As you can see, they're crumbling off as I just set it down. And like I said, these are soluble supports, so I'm going to go ahead and dilute the supports off and then show you the finished print and do a full review on quality like that. However, I just wanted to show you enough of why it was printed with supports and all that. So I will go do that. Well, a half hour later, and here's what I got. I analyzed it, looked at it. I have very mixed opinions and very mixed feelings about this. So, when I saw it when it was still in the supports, when it still had the supports on, I was like, dude, this is the most insane print quality I've ever seen. I don't know about you, I've never seen a better hull. To clarify, the hull did not print with any supports on. There is nothing. No layer lines, layer lines, but no layer shifts, nothing obvious of the sort. Right, that is perfect. However, as you can see, this little dash here and the fact there's white down here and up top, again, it did print with supports, and those soluble supports didn't even pretend to be water soluble. Definitely non-water soluble supports. These have been sitting here for 2 days, 3 days now. So I just had to kind of go back to the basics and kind of claw it all off. And as it turns out, my claw is kind of good. So, quality-wise, overhangs are perfect. Go figure, you printed with supports, you little cheater. Quality on the whole, like I was just saying, perfect. That did not print with supports, so that's fine. the hole in the hull printed with supports, that's cheating. This hole back here that's supposed to show banding has no banding. Like, none at all. Needs a little bit of a keyhole. And the overhang isn't perfect, but it's very close. This printed with support, so it's cheating anyways. However, what I was really impressed by, one, these layer heights aren't 0.2 millimeter or point whatever. They're 0.1 inch layer heights, or 0.1 inch layer heights. Not 0.1 inch, that's 16th, never mind. 0.01 inch, like I just said. And so the roof looks pretty goofy. However, like, the quality on this is otherwise insane. Like the roof, that little chimney here, that's perfect. That did not print with supports, that's perfect. I've never had a benchy come off where like these corners here are fully filled in like they are. And this floor, like the deck and all that, again, perfect. Like this is probably, and like these letters down here, I cannot get over how good these letters are, how perfect they are. However, again, this is cheating because it didn't actually print on the bed. It printed off the bed, printed supports onto the bed, and then printed on the supports. So again, actual quality is insane. The only like bad quality that I found is on this side. You get a lot of like stringing from its color changes, and it was like all these ripples, but you can't actually see like you can see these on camera really well now that I'm looking at them, right? Like right here on the hull and down here where it had a few cooling issues, but like you don't see those in the light. Like this is insane, right? This up here looks pretty bad on camera, but again, hardly visible. So there's a few like little kinks to work out, but like it's perfect. It's literally the highest quality benchy I've ever seen, with a hole and like the top. Like this is geometrically perfect. Yeah, and it took 3 hours to print. So at that point, like, why even bother? I mean, I get why you'd bother. Like this is 9-year-old printer. This is absolutely insane for 9 years ago. Insane. It's literally better print quality than my Prusa probably gets. But it just isn't comparable because of the speed. Realistically, if I slowed this thing down to do 3-hour prints, you could probably get pretty good quality. This is printed in ABS, because the printer, again, doesn't accept anything other than ABS. And I have in the video that I showed, it has its own proprietary, like, filaments. So it's like a box that you insert into the printer, but it's literally just a 1 kilogram spool of filament. It's so dumb. I hate Stratasys makes good printers, but their entire ecosystem is awful. They are completely against the whole open source, open everything, entirely closed off, just an industrial machine that you have to work with for 3D printing, which, again, it's an industrial team or industrial product, so who am I to judge? Again, it's never realistic because it's a $30,000 machine. It ain't a desktop 3D printer, that's for sure. So, final remarks. Is it a good printer? For 9 years ago? Yeah, definitely. For today's standards, quality-wise, if time was not a problem, this would still probably, this quality probably still beats Bamboo in quite a few areas. But, minus the color changing. But just because of the fact that Splicer is proprietary and awful, and because it prints so slow, I don't know, like 7 out of 10, I guess.